Back with us now. Former Justice Department prosecutor Jim Trusty. Jim, a disturbing trend. Thousands of police officers are quitting or resigning or retiring just as we're facing a double-digit increase in violent crime. What do you say?
Well, look, it's a real simple cost-benefit analysis for these police officers. You know, if they've been on a department for 22, 25 years, they see the political support is gone, that large segments of the community demonize them and the politicians sway to that side. So they think, why would I stay on for another few years to be subjected to this atmosphere of violence and no support? I think it's a very easy decision, a very damaging decision, but a rational one by these officers that are leaving in droves.
You know, black people are getting killed at higher rates from homicides and murders. You know, you wonder if this is going to threaten Democrat control of Congress in next year's midterms. The murder rate has been on a downward trend for over 20 years, but it's currently spiking. And we're seeing the trends go south, going in the wrong direction. We have Democrat Eric Swalwell. He is now trying to play catch-up, saying on MSNBC that it's the Republican Party that is, quote, rolling with the cop killers instead of standing with the Capitol Police by not backing a bipartisan investigation of Capitol riots. But that's setting aside that thousands of cops have been injured and harmed on the job. We have about 50 already killed in the line of duty.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's a really disgusting statement when you think about it. I mean, maybe Fang Fang or his Chinese handlers told him to say it, that it would be cute. But the reality is, you know, what happened on the Capitol January 6th, when you talk about police conduct, is very opaque. Officer Sicknick, which I guess is what he was trying to refer to, was not murdered. I mean, there was an initial lie that he had been pummeled to death with a fire extinguisher. That turned out to be not true. The only death on the Capitol Hill that day that was more opaque was probably Ashley Babbitt, the woman that crawled through a window. So here's what I would say. I don't think any of us needs to see this political exercise of Pelosi and Swalwell and Adam Schiff, you know, impeaching Trump for the 32nd time over the Capitol riot. But I do think a serious law enforcement inquiry, a real professional objective scrutiny of how was lethal force used on the Capitol, were there inconsistencies in the Capitol Police when it comes to either letting people in or fighting them, those are things that we really ought to drill down on and know for the future.
Yeah, we hear that. I understand that. But, you know, when it comes to what's happening across the country, it's like back to the 1970s. I mean, the solution's already been out there. It's not complicated. It's what worked under Clinton. Just enforce the law, fund police training, support honest cops. Honest cops are getting stereotyped right now. So, you know, let's watch Senator John Kennedy on this. I'd like your reaction to what Senator John Kennedy says. Watch.
Why has Chicago become the world's largest outdoor shooting range? Why is it safer to walk down the streets of Mogadishu than New York City? Crime is not up, as the president seemed to indicate today, because of inadequate background checks. Crime is up because many, not all, but many members of the president's own party believe in defunding the police. They ran on it, and in many cities they've done it.
What I don't get is, why do you defund the police when you need the cops to remove from the streets of America illegal guns? You know, the majority of criminals who get guns, they're not buying them at gun stores. They're not buying them at gun shows. It's something like less than 8% there where they're getting their guns. The criminals are getting guns illegally in the black market or on the street underground, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, a couple of things about Chicago. Remember, the Democratic leadership fought the idea of ATF and other federal agencies flooding the Chicago scene to try to help take off illegal guns. I mean, because Bill Barr's name was on it, it was somehow, you know, the source of an allergy. The other thing is, when I was at DOJ, Liz, I'll try to cut this pretty quickly, but I spent a long time trying to forge essentially a relationship between prosecuting offices around Chicago to go after gun trafficking. And we had a lot of success with Northwest Indiana and some participation from Chicago prosecutors. At the end of the day, there wasn't like this wholesale market. It was basically stolen guns and small scale transactions between criminals, not a big open market type thing.
Okay, Jim Trusty, thanks for your insights there. Good to see you. Come back soon.